floodwaters. Jim works for the Walnut Fire Department Swiftwater Rescue Team. Jim, thank you for being with us. Can you tell us some of your search and rescue missions, what they were like after Helene, and what the conditions were like as you ran into this?
Well, after Helene, of course, we were doing search and recovery for two and a half, 3 weeks, also helping other counties with that, with our Swiftwater Rescue Team. And then that led into the recovery project process, if you will. And that was the river cleanup and the getting people back in their homes and just feeding the community. Different organizations came in, different organizations were established. Long-term recovery group was established after several months. And that's, an ongoing thing. We never know what the weather's going to bring. So,
yeah, this is a continued threat, right? And you talk about the recovery. It's going to be ongoing, especially with a system like this. I mean, it takes many years. Jim, I want to talk about the point of when Helene came in and we got all those reports of flash flooding, landslides, mudslides. You actually have a critical job of responding to emergency rescues. Is there a mission that sticks in your mind still to this day during that time frame?
Yeah, of course, there's a rescue that we couldn't facilitate due to it being too dangerous. That's never going to go away. There's definitely some PTSD from that with all the rescuers that day. You're always worried, is that going to happen again? And with the runoff, things have changed. The river's changed. It's still, a great river. The French Broad is wonderful. But the drainage happens faster now. We don't have a lot of debris on the side of the banks. They've been cleaning that up and getting the trees out of there. And the drainage happens very fast. Like we've been on a flash flood call since then in the county. We didn't have to activate, but it was happening and it had died down. So we're worried about runoff. We're worried about different systems. Obviously, we're following all the big potential storm events that are building in the Gulf. That's what typically hits us the hardest and sets in. But yeah, that's going to be the biggest concern. Now, with that said, we are more ready than we ever have been before with fire department. We have a jet boat now that was a very, very very nice donation from an organization here in the county, so we can actually get to rescues that we weren't able to before with a paddle raft. That's, hopefully we'll never have to use that, but it is there. We practice on it. It's wonderful. It's amazing what the jet boat will do. And as well as some other crafts that we've incorporated into our team, because we are the primary Swiftwater Rescue Team in Madison County, North Carolina. There's not another established team.
And with that being Jim, I want to ask you about that part since you're the only one. And when we look at some of the pictures and the video that you have sent us, I mean, during Helene, there was overwhelming amount of calls, of course, I would imagine, to your team. What is that like trying to coordinate that when you're one singular team? I mean, that's got to be overwhelming.
Yeah, it is. It is. And you take them on a call basis, obviously, and what they sound like. But we do have more people, as we've actually grown the Swiftwater team since Helene by about 6 members that are part of the fire department now. Also part of the river community, or professional paddlers, if you will, get paid to take care of people on whitewater, that's been wonderful. So we actually have 4 different teams that could go out with Swiftwater knowledge, four teams of 4, if you will. We have the means to do that now. Yeah. We didn't have that before. We were literally one boat that day, and we did branch off into 2 teams for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then we were back as one unit trying to figure out how to get the other, the other things to happen.
Yeah, and Jim, it just shows that during these tragic events, right, you can learn so much from that. But you're kind of highlighting something that I want people to understand, too, is that your community is growing. The Swiftwater rescue teams are growing. Can you kind of give us a sense of what the communities there are like after Helene, working together still to this day?
Oh, yes, sir. The community, as I mentioned before during the interview with this program, it's amazing to be a part of something, even though it was so terrible, when you have people come together. and from all parts of the community. I mean, there's no politics. You don't talk about that. You don't talk about any of this. You just love each other, and you're there, and it's terrible, and you're going through it, and you trust each other. And it's powerful. Really is. There's organizations out there, and I hadn't realized this was the deal. I knew Katrina, had friends that went to Katrina and stuff, and I just thought they were doing contract work, because we've had a lot of contract workers here making, good dollars, coming in. They're needed. There's funding there for that. That's awesome for them. It's great. But when you have like community members that are bringing their backhoes down and their gas and our dump trucks, and we're spending hard days for months at a time. It was 5 months for me doing volunteer work.
Wow.
Down in the communities for the residential. And then I was hired by a nonprofit. Wasn't a lot of hours a week, but it was nice getting something then, but it didn't matter. I mean, everybody's doing it together, and there's so many people that volunteered, and that's just what we did for about a year now. And it's still happening. There's still big volunteer organizations, and now, there's not as many people. There still are groups coming in, but before it was like huge groups. I mean, there's some pictures that will dictate that. These churches are amazing, coming in with these groups of young people, showing them what service is like. And, I just praying all the time with all these different groups of people, and just thankful, and just the true love of the human spirit, and the carrying on, to carry on through something so terrible was really something to behold. And it changed me. I mean, the whole thing changed me. I mean, the whole from day one, there was a change, right? Now I get a little bit nervous. He gets excited about rain, being a whitewater person, but now I'm kind of get a little nervous about rain.
You respect the power of what the water can do now, right? Especially when it's coming out of the higher elevation. I want to bring this up because you've mentioned this a couple of times. You're a whitewater person, and you talk about you have a tubing business. Real quickly with your brother, how has business been since Helene? You said the river itself.
That's a great question.
Yeah, completely different.
Tourism wasn't great this year anyway, but we also had Helene. So people were like, "Well, is the river something wrong with the river?" All these things, and we had it. We didn't test it, but we work with the river keepers. We test it all the time. It was just like it was before, as far as that goes. No changes there. But the percentage, we were down 30%, and I know that by other. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We can hear you, Jim.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just heard some background and my headset went out on me. So I'm sorry. We were down 30%. So was the Whitewater, the rafting company. My brother's on a rafting company here, a very good, big rafting company. They were down about 30%. It's easier for me because we're a small business. It's a mom and pop. It's just a good old fun tubing business. But when you have a lot of overhead and stuff, that's really where that gets tricky. So with that said, we're heads down. We've been here before, and they have, and we're mountain folks. we really are. I don't know how to explain it. It's a resiliency. It's a simple thing that you can be real simple. I mean, hunting season's coming up. I mean, what else do you need to do? It's all stuff around Austin.
Jim, and sometimes it's just like you had said, it's just that simple. I remember I was out there the week after it made landfall in Western North Carolina, and as you had talked about the community rallying together, we're at times trying to share everybody's story and making sure the word is getting out there, and people would be coming to us asking us, hey, what can we get you to eat? What can we? And we're like, look, we're here to help, try to help you, but it speaks to the heart and generosity, and like you had said, people have been here. Oftentimes we had said, hey, what can we do for you? And they said, oh, don't worry about us. We're going to handle this. We'll be just fine. I remember going to Asheville and so much of Western North Carolina, mountain biking, whitewater rafting. It is the great outdoors, and you feel it when you're there, and that's never going to be gone, right? You're still going to feel it when you get there as well in Western North Carolina. Jim, thank you so much for kind of giving us an update a year later, and we wish you and, of course, all of Western North Carolina, you and your brother and those businesses, hopefully a good kind of impact from everybody coming back in, pouring in some love. By the way, this is everybody, Jim Hampton with the Walnut Fire Department Swiftwater Rescue. Again, thank you for being with us here on Fox Weather.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Y'all have a blessed night.
And by the way, this week we are going to be featuring those survivors, those heroes like Jim that were on the front lines, making sure they could save as many people as possible during Helene. The 1-year anniversary is this week. We'll have more stories coming your way. But